Okay, so what we'll do is we will attempt to bluff right away that conversation. See if we get the same thing. Or if we just kind of ignore it. Come on. I wish loading happened a little bit faster in this game, but oh well. Okay, so he answered the ringing phone. Yeah, she's like... Oh, this... Everything's fine over here, Doctor. Probably just another security drill. And, yeah, I'm totally security. It's me, Kendrick. Okay, fine. Who knows? Who cares? Let's do it. Alright. Let's just keep going. Alrighty. Let's see. They're probably now prepped an ambush, but that's all fine, I guess. Alright. Now. Weapons locker access. 4077. Let's see what you got in here. Nemesis Arms Gyrojet Pistol. That sounds pretty cool. We will take that. Duncan, do you want a pistol? No. I'm not taking it because I'm useless with that. But Duncan can take it. And what's over here? A voltaic grenade? Sounds pretty cool. Again, Duncan, you can have the cool toys. That it? Okay. Somehow that weapons locker only has 2 things of interest. That's fair enough, I guess. Hello? Row upon row of man-sized pods line the wall of this room. Each pod contains a single occupant, men and women bound by restraints, all of them apparently asleep. They seem almost peaceful in this slumber. They occasionally twitch and sway, but otherwise remain motionless. You lean in to get a closer look. The sleeper inside has a weathy, cragged features you've come to associate with street-level living, but he's wearing a surprising amount of chrome for a homeless man. Ugly welts and bruises model his skin, and a handful of fresh wounds paint his torso. The incisions on his chest are surprisingly neat and clean. A recent surgery, perhaps. Upon closer inspection, you see a slim braided cable that stretches from the wall to the sleeping man's data jack. The other end of the cable has been hooked into a nondescript Shiawase device that has been integrated into the pod. Glancing down the line of pods, you can see that all of the sleepers are connected to their pods in a similar fashion. Well, that's disgusting. These poor people. This isn't silence. It's a damn metahuman testing facility. Ranneko, take a look at that. Each pod has one. My guess is that they're jacked into the Matrix and being forced to sleep, like a dream world that shuts down their higher brain functions. Okay, so if only there was some way to get them out of here. Yeah, let's definitely do that. There's something clanks nearby. The sound reverberates in the still air, stretching and lengthening into a persistent hum. Sounds a bit like the ambient drone of an air circulation system, but as you listen it grows louder. Gradually dawns on you that the noise isn't coming from the walls, but the pods that protrude from them. What the hell is that? There's another loud clank, and you catch a hint of motion in the pod nearest to you. The pod's occupant, a battered troll riddled with chrome, shifts uneasily against his restraints. As you watch, those restraints disconnect, the troll's eyes slide open, and his face twists into a hateful snarl. They've got him brainwashed or something. Look into his eyes, Ranneko. There's nothing going on in there. I can't allow you to progress any further. Shiawase has invested millions of nuyen into the research in this lab. I can't let you threaten it. If you try to get any closer, I'm going to have to stop you. Don't make this more difficult. I'm coming to this... Go to your lab, whether you want me to or not. I can't let you do that. I can't. I gave the signal. Open the pods, damn it. Wake the damn things. The troll peers at you through red vacant eyes. The door of his pod slides open. Like a chain reaction, several other pods follow suit. There's an explosion of motion from the pods, and the subjects contained within charge you like a pack of rabid beasts. Okay. Well, that's great. And there's an adept? Yeah, well. So I've got to kill 3 right now. If we hadn't done what we did before, maybe it'd be different. Uh-huh. Right. Okay, so first step. Looks like these are all melee attacks. Okay, so first thing. They've all got 70 HP. So it's just a slightly differing amount of other things, right? Okay. Now, I can mark someone, or I can just shoot him. I think I just shoot him good, right? Let's back up too. Okay, donkey. Sorry about this. So. You get taken out at least. At least we didn't kill every single one of them, I guess. And again. And one more time. That's 377% chances you just missed there. Okay. How are you not dead? But fine. So, one shot. Two shot. You turn to see Dr. Tang watching the scene from the telecom. Her face visibly pales as the final test subject falls to the floor. She splutters, barely able to form a coherent sentence. I can't... all of them? But they were supposed to be killing machines. Their cyberware was top of the line. Oh, did I break your toys? They weren't toys, damn it. They were invaluable research subjects, the end result of years of research. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but they were worth more than you can imagine to the science we're doing here. All that time, all that work, flushed down the drain for nothing. I sacrificed those test subjects to stop you. You know why? Because you can't be down here. I'm not kidding. You have to turn back the way you came. Look, you have no idea what we're storing down here, how dangerous this place is. Your even being here is a huge breach of every lab safety protocol in the books, but you can still turn back. The death of those test subjects is on you, but not on me. But if you do what I say, there doesn't have to be more bloodshed. You heard the man. We're in this up to our armpits already. We've got no intention of turning back now. All you're doing right now is pissing me off. Look, you don't get it. I work in a BSL-4 hot lab. That means I'm surrounded by aerosolized, lethal, highly infectious pathogens. Literally anything you find in here could kill you. Horribly. Hell, half the stuff in here could cause a global pandemic if it were to escape quarantine. This is more important than your goddamn job. Look, don't expect you to listen to me, but I'm gonna say it one last time. It would be in everyone's best interest for you to turn back. Everyone, especially yours. Okay. Now I totally understand that. But on the other hand, fuck off. Basically. Where is, like, this medical locker of which was spoken previously? Is there something over here I can do? No. Okay, well, I mean, I see literally one way to go, so I guess we'll go that way. How big is this complex? Ah, that's so cool. Okay, let's look at the terminal. Laboratory Gamma 4 quarantine, security lockdown engaged, access level Omega 4 required for entry. Locked. Shouldn't be a problem. Try the keycard you picked up, Ranneko. If I remember correctly, it should have the appropriate details. You slide the card, lift the card to the slot before you slide it through. She erupts onto the scan screen. I told you before, you can't come in! Her breasts come in tight, panic gasps. She's clearly doing her best to stay calm, but she's clearly terrified as well. I don't like repeating myself, so listen, please. This lab is restricted for a reason. Besides the obvious fact it's full of deadly contagions, it also contains highly sensitive and very expensive equipment that only trained scientists can handle. You barging in here and mishandling a single vial will in likelihood infect yourself with whatever's inside, and that would be a disaster. And I mean that quite literally. Guess you better give me some incentive not to mishandle any vials then. Are you joking? Are you just crazy? How many times do I need to tell you what'll happen if you come in here and make a mistake? I'm willing to bet we can walk into that lab safely, Ranneko. So a lot of corporate labs in my time with Lone Star. They've all got layers of recursive safety systems to prevent what Tang's afraid of happening. She's just trying to scare us. I'll try to keep the lab intact, but no promises. And there she is. So let's start with this. Anything to interact with over here? No. What about over here? Dr. Janet Tang stands firm. Given the situation, she looks remarkably well composed. She waits calmly as you approach, her shoulders held rigid and her arms crossed over her chest. Her two associates shuffle awkwardly behind her, their hands shaking. They both look terrified. I told you not to come in. You shouldn't be in here. Her tone is firm, but there's a slight tremor in her voice. Listen to me. You made a horrible mistake. One wrong move, and you'll release God knows what into the room. If you work with me instead of against me, we can all leave in one piece. I understand, and we're willing to cooperate with you to move things along faster. We all want out of here alive. So this is me cooperating. You tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you. No more arguments. Right now, I can't help but wonder why you devote your life to creating bioweapons. It's because Namazu isn't just a weapons factory. Far from it. In fact, my lab has spent the lion's share of its time creating treatments for lethal and degenerative diseases. Only 10% of our resources are spent on destructive pathogens. The vast majority of what we do here is benign in nature. We're curing people, not killing them. So tell me of your super disease. Convince me. They must have the cures for the disease you're inventing, like the one that kills you inside a month, for example. The doctor blinks at you. Her voice goes cold. You're talking about pathogen GT0009 SARS-3. That's the one. Tell me about it. I'm sorry, I can't, but all information on SARS-3 is classified. For good reason. It's one of the worst things we've ever produced in this lab. We can't let you... You're not here to take it, are you? Tell me that isn't what you're here to do. I told you to tell me about the disease. Are you going to... remember what we agreed on. Help me and no one gets hurt. Don't go back on that now. She glances at her associates, both cowering behind her and shaking violently. You can hear one of them murmuring something in a language unknown to you. From the cadence of the words, you'd guess it's a prayer. Alright, I'll tell you everything I know. SARS-3 is a Category 4 lethal pathogen, 99.98% fatal, excruciatingly painful, and it kills in a matter of weeks. As of right now, the only cure is a prototype antibody treatment. We're still working on fine-tuning it. In case you haven't been paying attention, I'm going to say this one more time. It's terrible. It's easily the cruelest, most infectious, and most lethal thing to have come out of this lab. It cannot be allowed into the wild. I was attacked by some test subjects of yours on the way here. Care me to tell me anything about that? I guess there's no point in withholding information at this point. You'll know what'll happen. No. You can see her cheeks pull downward as she frowns beneath her mask. She nods her head somberly. The other two researchers mimic her gesture, their heads popping up and down like a couple of pigeons. They're part of the study called Project Silver Dream. Each have been implanted with a prototype beetle ship. The project is to create a perfect switch for sleeper agents and spies, one that can remain undetected by current scanning and ID technology. As of right now, the project is still in early testing, and they're most often used for new cyberware test beds while the beetle ship is being refined. A necessary adaptation, considering our field experiments have only achieved partial successes so far. We haven't been able to maintain complete control over the test subjects. They're still working on that. Your run-in with the test subjects wasn't an accident. I'm sure you'd figured out that there was already a A hasty decision on my part. You already knew what I did. They were the only thing standing between you and my lab. I was trying to avoid a containment breach. I stand by that decision for what it's worth. These test subjects of yours, is there any way to disconnect them from whatever you're feeding into their heads? The project runs on a delicate framework. Casual tinkering with the system could be dangerous, not just for our machines, but for the subjects. If you really want to disconnect them, you'd have to do it. There's a particular order you'd have to do it. First, you'd need to disconnect the matrix interlocks. Then, you'd need to initiate a supervised override of the SimSense feeds. Trying to do anything with the subjects without observing the proper procedures would be disastrous. If I would have tried it myself without helping the proper permissions, I'd probably flub it, which would trigger the matrix defenses, which would only make a bad decision worth. You want to help do anything with those subjects, knock yourself out, but don't expect me to help when I know what I mean over my head. I want to know more about how SARS-3 kills. The disease works by replicating the identifying features of white blood cells. It tricks the immune system into ignoring it, then it self-replicates at an exponential rate. During the early phase, while it's colonizing the body, a patient doesn't experience any overt symptoms, just a mild temperature and an elevated white cell count. That's it. You sure you want me to go on? It's pretty gruesome. Keep it coming. Alright, okay, here we go. Once a virus has thoroughly colonized the host, it begins a devastating attack on the body. It rapidly infects epithelial cells, inserting its own RNA at such a tremendous rate that the cell membranes rupture, spewing cytoplasm and virions into surrounding cells. By the time the attack's begun, the damage dealt is almost irreversible. What kind of damage are we talking about? What does it actually do to people? The virus induces a hypersensitivity reaction in the host. Lungs fill with mucus and sputum, leading to hypoxia. Victims drown in their own fluids. We spent a long time developing GT9. The secret was hybridizing the standard SARS coronavirus with a third strain of vitis. That's why standard treatments won't work. That's goddamn horrible. Yeah, well, I don't want to be an I told you so, but it's a bioweapon. They don't have much deterrent value if they're horrible. Anyway, there you have it. SARS-3, my baby. I'm not exactly proud of having made it. Tell me about the cure. How do we fix someone who's been exposed? We developed a strain of monoclonal antibodies in tandem with the disease. It isn't perfect, but it works. It's the only cure. Yeah, could any of the Silver Dream test subjects have been infected with SARS-3? You know, those test subjects looked a little pale, maybe even sick. Do you think? You can't be serious. If they're infected, then no, you should be fine. It takes more exposure than the shared space. If you'd prolonged exposure, maybe, but no. The risk is 1 in a million. You're fine. What about... Could any of them have been infected? No, no way. There's a researcher on the station who would do such a thing. Wait. Dr. Ngai came to me a couple of months ago, asking for a SARS-3 sample. I didn't think it was unusual at the time. All of us in Gamma 4 need the occasional sample for further studies, but... But what? As far as I know, I never received his report on that sample. The sample itself was never returned either. The way our system works, it's impossible to take or return samples without computers logging the transaction, which means he either has it or he used it somehow. His numbers were slipping too. We were contacted by the board not long before he requested that sample, but I can't imagine he'd be desperate enough to use it in such a risky and uncontrolled environment, and on such valuable subjects. I have to concede it's a possibility, though. What about this facility? Can it really keep your project safe inside? I want details. Well, nothing's ever completely foolproof, but it's it's got a lot of controls, and we stick to procedure. We're very serious about safety for obvious reasons. Reducing the number of potential exposures is one way. We're prepared for an outbreak. We'll run on a skeleton crew. 200 workers at most. And as you can imagine, living down here for long periods can be difficult. People rarely acclimate long enough to last more than a couple of months. To prevent our projects from suffering, we're cycled in and out every 14 weeks. No break days while working in the underwater cycle. We are compensated pretty well on our off months. Some people find a way to get bored, so we try not to keep anyone on staff we don't need. Most of our security and menial labor is handled by drones. Still have a few flesh and blood security personnel. I think that Commander Gara has been down here longer than anybody, but mostly it's all drones for blue-collar work. This can't be why you broke into my lab. I can understand why you might be curious about an underwater lab. I don't know that much, really. Only what I've told you. I've heard enough. This is a matter of what to do with you and your team. Wait, just wait, before you do anything. Listen, we aren't bad people. We're scientists who were assigned a dreadful task and did what they had to do to keep their jobs. It's the kind of thing that happens to everybody. I bet it's even happened to you once or twice. Please, don't hold our professionalism against us. Let us go. Maybe we can do some good out there. We'll find a different corp to work for. Better projects to pursue. Don't kill us. I'm not like you. I don't kill unless I have to. And don't make excuses for myself when I do. Now take your men and get out of here. Janet's head jolts up in surprise. Her associates look at each other, as if expecting you to change your mind, or maybe convince your words are a trick. She takes a step forward. Her voice stutters. I don't know what to say. I didn't think it... Thank you for sparing us. I won't forget this. And then a door we can't see opens. They vanish. Not much else that we could have gotten from him anyway. Anyone else want to get the hell out of here? With the sterilization countdown running, Silver Dream's thugs on our heels, and whatever horrible diseases might be floating around, sub's sounding awful nice around now. I'd like nothing more than to book it back to the subway. We've got a job to finish. We're in the germ lab, right? So the SARS-3 cure should be in here somewhere. Flashing light of a nearby console catches your eye. With a static click, a handful of monitors mounted around the lab display an unfamiliar face. Attention all staff, I've ordered a red level security lockdown due to facility intrusion. All personnel should drop whatever they're doing and report to safe rooms in Sector 9 immediately. The security breach has triggered an automatic sterilization sweep. In 30 minutes, a squadron of drones will deoxygenate the premises to prevent escape of any loose pathogens. If you haven't reported to Sector 9 by that time, you're done. You won't survive the sweep. Okay, Matrix system wipe initiated. Sterilization system on standby. All personnel to report to Sector 9. Kinda long-winded, but I get it. We stay, we die. Let's not do that, shall we? The sector commanders will probably look less overrides for the trams. We'll need to eliminate them to escape. But what about all those test subjects? They didn't choose this fate. Sheer wise they make that decision for them. So should we lock them up or set them free? Your call, Ranneko. Well, if we want to do anything about them, we'll have to do it fast. Once that matrix lockdown is complete, every computer and data line in this lab will shut down. Okay, so time section? Rounds.